The boy wakes up and can't believe he's still alive. He recognizes the place where he has found himself. It's a university dormitory. The boy is not dead, but has been reborn. He doesn't remember why he has so many injuries. There is no spiritual energy in his body. His 30,000 years of cultivation are gone. His enemies are truly ruthless. The boy grew up in the high and respected realm of the sword. When he was given the title of Divine King of the realm, countless experts from the Yongjue dynasty besieged him. In the end, it all ended in exhaustion and hatred. Perhaps this room could not withstand the power of so many experts at once. The boy returned to his time as a student at Yunhai University. He was reborn to the misfortune of his enemies. The time when he would regain his powers would be the time of the death of the Yunju dynasty. The doors to the room swung open and a beautiful girl entered. She was unaware that Wu Fu was already awake. Her name was Li Mengyao. The boy remembered why his body was scarred. The girl had come to return the gifts he had given her because they had broken up. Wu Fu was beaten because he tried to ask Li Mengyao why the girl had left him. As a result, he was humiliated in front of everyone and also insulted He Tianhao. This guy knew the protagonist's father well because he worked in his father's company. Because Wu Fu insulted He Tianhao, his father was directly fired from He Tianhao's father's company. The boy asked the girl if she had anything else to say. Li Mengyao is outraged that the ex-boyfriend dared to insult Tianhao at a time when he himself is so insignificant. She suggests that he look at himself in the mirror. Tianhao wants the protagonist and his father to kneel before him and apologize. Only then can Wu Fu's father continue to work for the company. The protagonist's whole family depends on his father's salary to clean the toilets. The boy can't believe that this girl really liked him once. But he has memories of those feelings. In his opinion, men don't just go down on their knees. He and his father aren't going anywhere. Li Mengyao thinks this decision is wrong. The protagonist asked the girl to tell Li Tianhao to meet him whenever he wants. The girl came to deliver this message because of their previous relationship. In her opinion, the man doesn't know what's good for his family. So she wishes him dead. Li Mengyao leaves, slamming the door behind her. For Wu Fu, this means that he must heal his wounds and increase his strength before he meets Tianhao. Luckily, he remembers all the cultivation techniques. The most appropriate technique is the art of purification, Qi of the 9 underworlds. How quickly he will enter the perfect realm of Li is a matter of time. Wu Fu must begin to heal his wounds. Above the protagonist's head, his star sword appeared. The boy thought the weapon had been taken by others and had no hope of getting it back. It is a sacred weapon before entering the modern realm of Qi. It is too dazzling. If the other cultivators discovered this sword, Wu Fu would be in trouble. His sword is severely damaged. The protagonist's wounds have healed. Now he can test his current strength. He decides to do it right in the room. A common fighting technique that actually carries a sharp blade of Qi. Wu Fu doesn't even apologize. The protagonist sits in a tree and cultivates energy. His current energy is limited on the ground. It won't be a problem for him to cultivate better quality Qi. At the moment, the density of Qi is too low for further progress. The guy saw 4 guys in the park. He was looking for Wu Fu. One of them told the others that his comrade liked to come here, but now the place looked empty. He suggested that they come back tomorrow and look again. The 3 guys didn't like that. They think the man is cheating them. The tall guy is Wang Meng, the main character's roommate and his only friend on Earth from a previous life. Wang Meng knows that Wu Fu has recovered from his injuries. He begs Hao's men to let him go. But they remind him that they didn't break Wu Fu's legs last time because of his sincerity. In their opinion, he has dug his own grave by playing tough in front of his fiancée. There is no point in asking for mercy this time. They think Wang Meng has betrayed them and a fight breaks out. The man says that Wang Meng's dog is really a greyhound. He wants to hit the dog, but the owner defends her. The man says that Wu Fu has been lying in bed for days and will die if he is beaten again. Now the group realize that they were tricked into bringing him here in the first place. They decide to beat up the main character's neighbor. Wu Fu stands up for him. Wu Fu asks the bully to leave before he gets angry. Wang Meng doesn't understand why his friend has come and asks him to run away, but the protagonist suggests that Wang Meng run away. Tianhao is outraged that Wu Fu dares to show up and hurt his brother. They want to beat up the protagonist. His neighbor insists that the boy should run away. Wu Fu thinks that only Tianhao's gang should run away. A fight ensues. The protagonist successfully fends off all attacks. He disarms the third brother. Hao is convinced that this is impossible. A few days ago, his opponent was weak, but today he is already very strong. Wu Fu asks him to remember how it was before. He lets Tianhao go. He promises to remember everything and leaves with his brothers. An elder passed by and thought that Wu Fu was making fun of the weak. He decided to teach the boy a lesson. The man didn't think it was professional. He decided to keep the hero company and fight him. Tianhao said that Wu Fu had already let them go, and Wang Meng realized that they had been mistaken for the bad guys. Wu Fu thinks the neighbor should go. The protagonist is convinced that there is no shame in running away if you are not in a position to hit someone. Wang Meng leaves. He wishes his friend luck. The elder thinks it's humiliating to fight with ordinary people against a cultivator. What he doesn't know is that these guys have decided to make trouble for themselves. Maybe the perfect power of the Qi realm will be disturbed by a few people. Wu Fu deftly dodged the attack. The elder realized that it was the imperfect Qi power. It was a bad thing. Wu Fu didn't take advantage of it to attack. The elder wasn't sure if the man was telling the truth. The man's cultivation is 2 levels higher than the protagonist's, but his spiritual energy is very weak. It's a trauma. Senior's energy channels are damaged, so he can't use all of his power. Now most of the damage to his energy channels has been repaired. A simple cultivation of perfect Qi has this ability. A trace of blood could be seen on the elder's lips. His subordinates saw this and decided to intervene. They blame everything on Wu Fu and decide to capture him. The guys see that he's a cultivator. They are not intimidated by the situation because they have guns. A shot rings out, but Wu Fu dodges the bullets. The older man ordered them to get out. The man would not allow them to open fire. Instead, he slapped his subordinate across the face. He thanked the chief for healing his wounds. The elder regretted the misunderstanding. Subordinates do not understand why their boss apologizes to Junior. Wu Fu could see that the man had no ill intentions, otherwise the outcome could have been very different. The older man liked the joke, but the man wasn't joking at the moment. The man thinks that Wu Fu is indeed a cultivator of perfect Qi. He makes a request to the young man. The man has a daughter who also has blocked channels. He hopes that Wu Fu will help her. His subordinate says that even Du Xian Yuan could not heal the young lady's blocked energy channels. The boy is not sure if Wu Fu will ever be able to do this. The young man thinks that the protagonists are just a rogue Jianghu. In his opinion, the boss should reconsider. Senior's subordinate turns to Wu Fu with the thought that even the quasi-grand master couldn't do anything. The boy suggests that the protagonist has had enough of life and has decided to cheat them. The young man is punched in the face by his boss for saying this. The older man resents his subordinate's arrogance. He thinks he is a scoundrel who has suddenly become an expert. The older man asks Wu Fu to ignore his subordinate's rudeness. The protagonist does not remember that he agreed to help. The man's bodyguard does not let up. He calls Wu Fu an ungrateful brat. The elder sees that the protagonist has outstanding abilities. He thinks that spiritual energy alone is not enough to cultivate. The boy agrees with him. The man told him that he had a villa in the Tianfu settlement that had an abundance of spiritual energy. He offered his savior to come and cultivate there anytime in exchange for helping his daughter. This is Mrs. Yang's favorite Ayla, only for the cultivation of perfect Qi. The high spiritual energy content sounds tempting to the protagonist. The elder adds that it's very peaceful, no one will be a distraction. If Wu Fu can heal the man's daughter, he can ask him for anything, villa or otherwise. The man thinks the problem with the blocked meridians is no big deal. The man has promised to bother Wu Fu soon to meet his daughter. The protagonist leaves his number with the older man. The bodyguard promises to kill Wu Fu if he does not cure Mrs. Yang. The man's phone rings. The unknown man was angry that Wu Fu had not apologized and dared to beat up his men. The man assumed it was Li Mengyao. His companion gave him 10 minutes to come and rescue the dog and Wang Meng. Wu Fu was afraid to see him, and now the man would come to him himself. The men with the bats were hiding around the corner. They've already beaten Wu Fu once, but this time, even if the guy's body is made of iron, he'll be incapacitated. Boss Hao tells them to stay back or they will be splattered with blood. Boss is sitting in the company of Li Mengyao. Wang Meng and the protagonist's dog are tied up in the corner. Wu Fu arrived at the meeting. As soon as he entered, he was attacked by men with bats. The boy easily fought off the attackers. Wang Mengyao remembers that only yesterday Wu Fu was lying in bed with no strength. But the boy says that was yesterday. Hao's bodyguards think that the protagonist has steel armor inside. Wu Fu likes this comparison. Li Mengyao can't believe that her ex-boyfriend has recovered so quickly. He definitely prepared himself. Wu-Fu came to rescue his friend and his dog. First of all, he freed the husky. Wang Meng thought he had been forgotten, but the protagonist saved him too. Wu-Fu was attacked from behind by another bodyguard, Tian Hao, but he failed. The boss saw that the guy could fight well, but that strength was not enough to fight him. He ordered Wu-Fu to be beaten to death. The boys rushed to fight, but the protagonist pushed them all away. He offered to fight Tian Hao and his ex-girlfriend, but they refused, nodding their heads. Now they were even. Wang Meng can't believe it's still his old friend. Li Mengyao doesn't think Wu-Fu was cool and omnipotent because of his skills, because scum will always be a toss-up. Hao tells her to shut up. The girl is addicted to being shouted at because of her ex-boyfriend. She wished Wu-Fu would die. The protagonist's dog pissed on the girl's leg. A stranger enters the room. She is outraged that Wu-Fu has made a mess on her property. The girl wants to settle the matter with a fight. She sees that Wu-Fu's sword manifestation is very destructive. She's surprised to see so much trouble coming from just one cultivator of perfect chi. Tian Hao warns her that this is the guy who beat up all the guards. Husky decided to rub the girl's leg. Wu-Fu notices that the girl is very fast. She outruns him by a bullet. He's definitely no match for her. Wu-Fu blocks the blow. Li Mengyao doesn't know when he became so strong. Tian Hao isn't surprised that Wu-Fu stopped unexpectedly because he was a cultivator. The girl thought that the protagonist would not be able to resist anymore. Wu-Fu thinks her talent is amazing, but her mistake is all too obvious to him. Now he is not only a cheat, but also a pervert in the girl's eyes. She can't use her spiritual energy. It is Wu-Fu who has blocked it. The girl asks for things to go back to the way they were before. The protagonist promises to do so, but not now. Tian Hao doesn't know what his opponent wants. The girl insists that this is the Su family's territory and they have no right to make a mess here. Wu-Fu asked the guards to tell her who was causing the trouble. They told her that it was Tian Hao who made them fight with Wu-Fu. She realized that she had been lied to. Wu-Fu offered Hao an apology, but he refused. He was then punched in the face. This made him very angry. He promised to get rid of the protagonist and ruin his life. Wu-Fu explained that he could find him anytime if he wanted revenge, but now he had to apologize. The daughter of the owner of the establishment was upset that Tian Hao couldn't apologize for causing a ruckus on her family's property. The man struggles to apologize. Wu-Fu orders him to leave. Li Mengyao ran after Tian Hao to calm her down, but the man rejected her. It wasn't easy for the girl to hold on to the big, rich, tough guy. She can't let Wu-Fu ruin it. She thinks her ex-boyfriend is a bastard. The protagonist says goodbye to the girl with the hammers, as he still has things to do. He thinks they will meet again later. The girl remembers that Wu-Fu hasn't unsealed her yet. She thinks it's possible that the guy is in the realm of perfect chi. Tian Hao comes to see his friends. They notice that he's been beaten up. The boys don't know who was brave enough to do such a thing. Tian Hao asks his brother to help him teach someone a lesson. Brother Biao is surprised. The second young master of the Yi family has been taunted by someone. This person probably doesn't know that he's older brother Tian Gang. The younger brother says that he was beaten by some scum without his knowledge. He asks that Wu-Fu not be killed too quickly. Tian Hao wants the protagonist to know the consequences of hurting him. The protagonist's enemies have lived for 1,000 years. Even if they have trained the atmosphere, he must remain calm and take his time. Members of the school basketball team enter the classroom. They are surprised to see Wu-Fu still going to class. The boys think he's crazy. Tian Hao's older brother is a member of the basketball team. Wu-Fu insulted him and didn't think about the consequences. The main character's classmates think that the class is never quiet because of him. The students think that Wu-Fu should apologize and never be seen by Tian Hao again. As a result, Wu-Fu is pitted against everyone in his class in the basketball club. The classmates don't agree. They don't want to take the blame for Wu-Fu. For them, the protagonist is like a mouse trying to break a bowl of porridge. If Wu-Fu wins, they'll leave him alone. Wang Meng begs him not to accept the challenge as he has never played basketball before. Wu-Fu thinks the game is too easy for him. If he loses, the protagonist will have to call him daddy, and if he wins, it will be the other way around. All the students want to watch this competition. Wu-Fu realizes that he can accept defeat, but it won't be an insult. For him, it doesn't matter who wins or loses, the important thing is not to give up too quickly. The crowd doubted that the fat man and the two gnomes were capable of winning. Zhou Sun's name was shouted from the stands. He is the president of the basketball club, and his father is the principal of the school. It must have been a crushing defeat. Jo-sun is Tianhao's best friend, and Wu Fu insulted both of them. His classmates think he will be expelled. There is no point in winning or losing. Both sides sit down. The game lasts 30 minutes. The team with the most points wins. The game starts. 3 balls have been thrown into Wu Fu's team ring. Jo-sun cheered from the stands. Wang Mensch thought they had no chance, as even the referee had given the ball to Jo-sun at the start of the. Wu Fu reassured his friend that the game had only just begun. Wu Fu proved to be too fast. He scored several goals at once. The crowd did not expect Wu Fu to win so quickly. The score is now 17-20. Jo-sun is furious. Wu Fu has prevented him from scoring. The spectators can see that the guys from the basketball club are literally smeared. Nobody expected the protagonist to hide his skills. Now it's just the 2 of them against the 8. Jo-sun scores another goal and suggests that Wu Fu change the team or show his skills. There's no way the 2 of them can win against the 8. The basketball team cheats openly. There are 10 minutes left in the game. The battle has just begun. Members of Joe's team prevent Wu Fu from playing, but the boy breaks free and prevents his team from scoring. Jo-sun hasn't noticed that the opponent is in front of him. Wu Fu scores with his side of the field. The basketball team thinks it's all a joke. Joe thinks it's all a projection of the lone circle. For him, it is impossible for his opponent to succeed. The score is 35-23. Wang Mang is excited about what's happening. Jo-sun begs to stop Wu Fu, but to no avail. The crowd cheers for the 2-man team. The basketball team believes that no matter how fast you are, it's too late to change anything. Wu Fu's team wins 42-31. Some students still think he's rubbish and don't understand how he can be so strong. The man Jo-sun hated embarrassed him. The embarrassed team wanted to leave the field, but Wu Fu asked if they had forgotten anything. The protagonist wants his brother Joe to call him dad. The members of the basketball club seem to be fed up with Wu Fu's life. Daddy can't accept a son who doesn't show loyalty. Joe doesn't want to abide by the terms of the game. A fight ensues and the protagonist wins. Jo-sun and Wu Fu are left to face each other. The captain of the basketball club wants to run away because of the loss, but he has to pay the bill. Joe realizes that his opponent is very strong. He's sure that the protagonist will regret this action. Wu Fu insists, and Joe utters the word daddy. The protagonist says that there is no more useless son in the world than Joe and walks away. Wang Meng thinks that his friend should be wary of the great connections of the losers. Wu Fu cultivates energy. There are 3 kinds of 9 meditations. They are divided into low, medium and high order gasification environments. You need to find a place with a strong aura to overcome the first level of perfection. Wang Meng enters the room and announces that the class is going on a hike. He offers to join them. Their campsite is near Tianfu Haoyuan. It is surrounded by mountains and lakes. The nature there is very beautiful. More importantly, there will be beautiful girls there. Wu Fu explained the name of the place. Wang Meng added that it was a meeting place for most of the rich people in Yunhai. There is a beautiful and famous place there. Wu Fu had almost passed the first stage, and it was also a great place. The protagonists agreed, but asked a friend to take care of the registration. Wang Meng was happy to help. The class went on a field trip. The classmates are not happy that the 2 friends went with them. Meng Yao's girlfriend thinks that Wu Fu is quite impressive because he not only insulted Tian Hao but also defeated Zoi Tan. The girl said that she was just playing with her ex's feelings. She thinks he is unworthy. Meng Yao bets that Wu Fu won't live more than a few days. The guy ignores these remarks. The girl is sure that her boyfriend will make sure that Wu Fu won't be able to get out of bed again. Wang Meng looks at the scenery. He sees an estate that deserves the title of the most luxurious in Yuanhai City. Wu Fu tells the driver to stop the bus. His friend warns him that they are not there yet. The boy replies that he has to stop at his friend's house. He tells his friend not to worry and promises to find him later. In Meng Yao's opinion, he likes to play tough, even if he doesn't mean it. His classmates think the same. They shout after him to make sure he doesn't get lost. Wang Meng realizes that many people like to look down on people. Wu Fu calls him and tells him that he is already there. The man tells her that his daughter is waiting for him and that he will now go out to meet the guest. The protagonist is invited inside. The spiritual energy in the mansion is quite dense. It seems to the boy that this will be enough to make a leap into the realm of Qi. The elder introduces his daughter, Wu Fu. It turns out that they know each other. It's hard to believe, but it's the same girl from the bar. She is shocked that her father is introducing her to the pervert. Wu-Fu can't believe she's the one Suing Shan was talking about, and the girl can't believe her father is calling this guy master. The guy asks not to look for other people, it's just in here. Mrs. Yong is suspicious of him. She thinks the man is up to something. She won't be afraid of Wu-Fu because of his skills. Wu-Fu explains that he has come to heal her. The girl does not believe that a simple Chi cultivator can help her. Her father tells her not to judge a book by its cover, as this cultivator's skills are far beyond the ordinary. The girl says that only her ass is out of bounds, and that Wu-Fu is a common pervert. Suing Shan has prepared the medical components, although the main characters did not ask him to do so. Wu-Fu thinks this is a very generous gesture. It's one of the excellent materials to cultivate. Mrs. Yang insists that the guy is not only a pervert but also a cheat. She will be watching closely. Wu-Fu is sure that the elder's daughter's problems are not that big and that these materials are not really needed. The girl says that even the grandmaster her grandfather hired couldn't cure her. According to her, the protagonist's tongue is too long for a mere chi cultivator. The man's guard thinks the boy is a petty crook. The gentleman wonders if it was just an accident. The elder's daughter's meridians had been blocked for years, not to mention the grandmaster of primordial spirits, not even an expert could cure it. Wu-Fu considers himself a deserving expert in retribution. He doesn't believe that a mere primordial spirit can be better than him. The boy uses force to heal the girl. At this point, her father fears for her life. He wants to know who Wu-Fu really is. Ching-Ching's spiritual energy is no longer blocked. She is healed. Suing Shan orders his guard to put down his weapon. He admits that he was rude. Wu-Fu proves to be undeniably capable and mysterious. The older man wants to know who the man's teacher is. The protagonist remembers that in his past life, when he was burning, the teacher came to save him from death. The boy reveals that his teacher still hasn't come to Earth. The old man was surprised. He replied that Wu-Fu could not speak if he did not want to. The girl assumes that he is an alien. As promised, Suing Shan gave his daughter's savior the key to the house. He added that Wu-Fu could count on his help if she ever had any problems, as he still had connections in the city of Yunhai. Ching-Ching is very fond of the house and doesn't want to leave. She asks her father to give the boy some other kind of gift. The father asks his daughter not to behave like a child. Wu-Fu says that he is only here for cultivation and that the family can stay here if they want. Wang Meng sits on a park bench and enjoys being young. He looks at the pretty girls, but they notice him and leave. The guy is a little upset because his friend is late. Maybe he got lost. Wang Meng saw Xiao Ha. It was his friend's dog. The dog knocked some expensive things out of the woman's hands. Wu-Fu apologized and offered to pay for what his pet had broken. The girl said that even if she sold Wu-Fu, it would not be enough. The classmates added that the protagonist had a friend in Tianfu and that he would not mind the small expense. People have begun to judge him as a rich man who behaves as he pleases. The girl thinks he's really pretending to be cool. Wang Meng apologized to the girls again. Wu-Fu held out the money and asked if it was enough. His classmates couldn't believe their eyes. Li Mengyao can't wait to see how her ex lives without money, a poor scum, copying others, and just pretending to be cool. She approached Wu-Fu and asked him what he was up to. The boy warned her that if she wanted to play with him, Tianhao would be the underwear. He told the girl to watch her tongue. Mengyao would let him be arrogant for a few more days, and then her new boyfriend would make him regret it. Many clouds were gathering in the sky. The bus wasn't due until tomorrow morning, and the boys didn't know where to wait out the rain. Mengyao called her boyfriend to come and pick her up. He promised to come back later, but the girl could only take a few people. Wu-Fu said he had a house in Tianfu Haoyuan and offered to shelter them from the rain. No one believed him. Wang Meng asked if it was true. The man replied that he had just got it and they could go there if they wanted. Mengyao offered to go and see if it was true. The class went to the gate of the house. The girl saw the guards and said that Wu-Fu was about to be embarrassed. The boys thought that he would continue to sneak around. They were sure that they had better consider the option of going home and hope that Wu-Fu didn't think of anything else. Wang Meng suggested that they go back. The guard addressed the protagonist as Mr. Wu. Everyone was shocked because they thought it was impossible. The classmates entered the courtyard. Wang Meng thought the mansion was a good place to pick up girls. Wu-Fu invited everyone in. No one expected that it would turn out to be true. When Meng Yao met the main character, he was a stinking waste. She had no idea that the guy could hide such a big mansion. Wu-Fu told the guard that all these people were his friends, except for the red-haired girl. Momentum was placed outside the mansion. Meng Yao complains to her current boyfriend and asks him to kill his ex. Tianhao has already come up with a plan. The guy wants revenge for Wu Fu daring to hit him. Perfect face. The classmates wanted to be photographed in such a luxurious mansion as soon as possible. One boy suggested that it was the mansion of Su Qingqing's third-year elder sisters. The classmates asked the girl standing on the first floor who owned the mansion, but she was silent. Someone said she looked like a sexy hotel manager. Wang Meng wondered how his friend could have hidden the mansion so carefully. It's late and Wu Fu tells his guests to choose a room and get some rest. The girl thinks that Wu Fu might be kicked out of here if he falls asleep. She doesn't know how the poor guy managed to buy the mansion in Tianfk Haoyuan. She's sure the house belongs to Su Qingqing. Wu Fu agreed that the house belonged to the Su family, but now it is his. The classmates think they should ask the real owner for permission to stay in the mansion. They want to ask Qingqing's older sister for permission. Wu Fu has kindly allowed them to stay in this house, and they should not make the situation uncomfortable. The boy said that if they didn't want to stay, they could leave. Wang Meng would show them where the exit was. The girls were annoyed that the elder sister didn't say anything. They did not understand who their classmate thought he was. In their opinion, he liked to play the cool guy. Finally, the elder sister turned to the boys. Xingcheng shouted at the girl that she had to get down. She started to make excuses, saying that it was Wu Fu who called her. Xingqing clarified that it wasn't the guy who told her to get out. The lady confirmed that this was Wu Fu's mansion and that the people he told to get out should leave. They were shocked again. The girl offered to escort them to the exit herself. All but Wang Meng left. Xingqing could not sleep because of the noise made by Wu Fu's guests. Wang Meng thought that his friend was dating a rich hottie. Wu Fu's energy. He had entered the middle stage of the Qi realm. It had taken him 3 years to reach the Qi realm in his previous life. He did not expect that it would take him only a few days to reach the middle stage. Xiaohao lilazed and called his master outside. The star sword manifested. The boy thought his dog had found something. Xiaohao found the hilt of the star sword. In his previous life, Wu Fu had looked through many stars just to create a single star sword. He didn't think he would be able to see the blade after his rebirth. The boy was happy to see the sword return. The real star sword he had created was coming back. Wu Fu laughed ominously, for after he finished the star sword, his enemies would be waiting for him to die. It makes absolutely no difference whether you have attained perfection in martial arts or have been ordained in heaven. He will destroy everyone. The president of the martial arts club returned to the classroom. She had rested long enough, it was time to return. This is Qingqing. She asked the girls if any of them knew Wu Fu. One of the club members did. Wu Fu is a freshman transfer student. He also insulted He Tianhao. The moment he was surrounded by people outside the school gate, it seemed like it was time for him to die. Xingqing said she didn't know him. She thinks he should die. Wu Fu was surrounded by some big guys with bats. One of them is Tianhao's brother Biao. Wu Fu tells them to hurry up and start fighting or he will have a lesson. The guys with the bats attacked the protagonist, but he successfully fended them off. Wu Fu thought that Tianhao would hire someone who really knows how to fight, but it turned out to be a bunch of wimps. Brother Biao thought that the one who punched the second young master of the Yi family in the face would not be so easy. The two boys catch the protagonist. Brother Biao is confident that no one would dare oppose him. Xiaohao desperately defends her master. She bites the big man's leg. In return, he throws her aside and promises that her master will spend the rest of his life in bed. Xingqing asked the girls to call an ambulance for the bandits, because the truth is that Wu Fu is not a brat. The boy began to free himself from the bandits' clutches. Brother Biao thinks he's still trying to play tough. Wu Fu scattered the thugs in different directions. The big guy tried to hit the guy, but was hit back. Other bandits ran to help him, but they suffered the same fate. The gang members don't understand how the guy can be considered scum, as he's more like the underworld. Wu Fu orders the boys to pick up Brother Biao and follow him. One guy tries to excuse himself by saying that it is his grandmother's wedding day. A girl runs into the martial arts club and reports that Wu Fu has not taken Brother Biao to meet Tianhao. Xingqing thinks that the Yi family should pray that Yi Tian gang will be able to return to Yuan High School soon. Joseon is surprised that his friend hired De Biao to take out Wu Fu. He is convinced that the protagonist's life is really over. Meng Yao reads that Wu Fu thanks Tianhao for letting him live to this moment. She thinks that from now on there will be no more students called Wu Fu at Yunhai University. According to them, people like him don't deserve to be prayed for when they die. Suddenly, the door opens. Wu Fu, carrying Jia Biao, enters. He asks who the young men are looking for, him or their friend. Tianhao doesn't understand how this is possible. The boys did not like the fact that the freshman did not knock before entering. They were outraged that Wu Fu ignored the senior students. The boys ask him to get down. They warn that they won't say it twice. The boys are punched in the face for saying this. Wu Fu explains that it has nothing to do with them, so they should stay out of it. The students were surprised by the arrogance of this freshman. Unexpectedly, he had become a good fighter. Wu Fu asked Ching Ching to take care of his dog. The girl was not too happy about such an errand. Chosun said that the protagonist should be careful, after all, they are at school, the one who makes trouble is not easy to make. He thought that Wu Fu was afraid. The protagonist suggested that Chosun hide before he got angry himself. The seniors decided to fight. They took chairs and swung at Wu Fu. Their attack was successful. The protagonist warns Chosun that if he doesn't want to die, he should leave now. The captain of the basketball team promises revenge. Meng Yao asks the ex what he's up to. Tianhao thinks that Wu Fu shouldn't be arrogant about his lack of power. He repeats that his family's position in Yunhai is very high, but the protagonist doesn't want to hear this rant and brushes him off. Wu Fu accepts Meng Yao's revenge as she pleases and asks her not to bring the lowlife with her next time. Ching Ching is confident that Wu Fu will not be able to defeat Tianhao's older brother He Tian Gang. She thinks the protagonist is in big trouble. The boy said, "It's not yet known who's in trouble." Tianhao asks his father to help him kill Wu Fu. Tiangan already knows what has happened and will return to Yunhai soon. The father wants to meet Wu Fu in person, as there is no one in Yunhai who would dare destroy his family's reputation. He asked his son to rest in peace in his hospital bed. A man enters the room and reports that Wu Fu has just reached the Chi Sphere. He promises that in a few days he will make Tianhao's tormentor disappear. Wang Meng bursts into the protagonist's room and informs him that trouble has arrived. Zhou Sun has brought in people from the discipline committee. His uncle is the head of the discipline committee. He offers to leave and hide from them, but it is too late. Zhou Sun and his uncle are standing in the doorway. The man accused Wu Fu of conspiring with outsiders to bully his classmates by getting a dog in the dormitory. He suggested that the boy had a hobby of breaking the rules. Wang Meng told the boys, and it was actually Tianhao who called them out. Zhou Sun told the guy to shut up, as no one was asking his opinion. The hero realizes that it's useless to talk to them, as they believe that only money has power. So Wu Fu decides to beat up the uninvited guests. Zhou Sun's uncle turns out to be penniless. His nephew begs Wu Fu to be honest, but the protagonist insists that they leave and offers to help. The uncle promises that he will report the situation to the school authorities and that the student will be severely punished. Leaving his nephew with Wu Fu, the uncle flees the scene. Wang Meng thinks they went too far yesterday. 3 teachers came into the classroom. One of them had an announcement to make. He knows that the first-year student broke the school rules, disrespected the teacher and sent the student, He Tianhao, to a hospital bed. Rumors are flying around the school. Some know that it was Tianhao who called some thugs to stop Wu Fu, but it turned out that it was Wu Fu who kicked their asses. After negotiations by the school administration, it was decided to expel Wu Fu from the school so that the others would have no reason to break the rules. The classmates realize that it was Tianhao who started the trouble, but he won't be punished because his best friend's uncle is the disciplinary headmaster. Zhou Sun is confident that he can throw the protagonist out of school in a heartbeat. The teacher asks if Wu Fu has anything to say in his defense. The boy replies that he does. Su Qing entered the classroom, but the teacher asked her to leave. The girl said that since she opened the martial arts club, she had taken it upon herself to protect the students, and Wu Fu was one of them. She brought Dia Biao and told her that the thugs had come to beat up Wu Fu, not to massacre Tianhao. Xingxing told Zhou Sun that they didn't have the strength to beat Wu Fu and were now trying to get back at him, but she and her martial arts club disagree. The protagonist thinks their actions are unnecessary, but still thanks the girl for her help. Xingxing pointed out that if she hadn't brought in Dia Biao, Wu Fu wouldn't have been able to prove his innocence. The boy said it was as simple as 2 fingers in a socket. Wu Fu used the transformation but was interrupted by his teacher, who reminded him that he was from the school and that if he didn't stop, he would call the police. Joseon claims that Wu Fu has no evidence to prove his innocence. He is worried about the fact that Su Qingqing is a treasure of the school. If her family puts pressure on her, Wu Fu won't get hurt. He turns to the protagonist and accuses him of lacking good support and wanting to show off, but Wu Fu thinks it's a misunderstanding. He didn't hear what Joseon said. Wu Fu touched Joseon's head with 2 fingers and he began to scream. His uncle couldn't understand what had happened to his nephew. His classmates don't know why the boy is screaming. Joseon says Wu Fu did it to him. The disciplinarian is outraged that the student dares to hurt others in his presence. The protagonist asks if he has any proof that he was the one who hurt Jo Sun. Ching realized what had happened in the energy release. Jo Sun admitted he was wrong. Wu Fu thinks that a man like Jo Sun is not worthy of his name. Jo Sun begs to be released. Wu Fu suggests he tell him the truth. Jo Sun confesses that it was Tian Hao who told the students to obstruct Wu Fu. The disciplinary director says that the case needs to be investigated further. After all, conclusions drawn in haste could be wrong. Ching hopes that the headmistress will be honest and do justice to the members of her martial arts club, which has just accepted Wu Fu. The headmaster doesn't know when the main characters had time to become friends with the Su family. He has promised the girl that the disciplinary committee will be fair and impartial. Wu Fu doesn't know when he managed to become a member of the martial arts club. Ching thinks he is ungrateful because she did it so that the discipline committee would stop blaming him. She added that Su actually has a lot of influence in Yunhai, but at that point Wu Fu walked out of the office. The girl is annoyed that her friend thinks he can solve this problem just because he has some skills. The protagonist goes to his room and finds no roommate. Wang Meng sends him a message that he is repairing shoes. Wu Fu suggests that Xiaohua go for a walk. Ching is sunbathing by the pool. She sees Xiaohua's dog, which means Wu Fu is nearby. She wants to catch the pervert. The guy has lost sight of his dog. He's looking everywhere for her. Wu Fu dodges the knives flying in his direction. He doesn't know who attacked him. The stranger is sure that it is a bad omen for Wu Fu to meet him because now he will die anyway. The boys start to fight. The stranger is surprised to see Wu Fu blocking his knives with his bare hands. He sees that his opponent has some power. Wu Fu says that he hasn't met a worthy opponent since his rebirth and that he will get his revenge on this guy. The guy was outraged that a cultivator at the Chi sphere level dared to insult him. The attacker thinks Wu Fu is too bold. The protagonist fears he will kill his opponent if he fights back. The guy thinks Wu Fu is playing tough, even in the face of death. Wu Fu has formed a sword of Qi to attack his opponent. This is clearly not the power of a cultivator at the level of Chi sphere. He asks the protagonist who he is, but Wu Fu thinks the stranger is not worth knowing. Ching knows that Wu Fu has the power of a mid-stage Chi sphere, but he can fight with a higher stage Chi sphere. This guy is not easy. The protagonist's attacker takes Su Cheng hostage, thinking she is Wu Fu's girlfriend. The protagonist explains that she is not his girlfriend, which makes Ching angry. She is outraged that he has no human compassion. She's not worried because she can stand up for herself. Su Ching expert is in the process of forming a ball. The members of her martial arts club hear an explosion in the building. They are worried that their president is inside. An outsider begs Ching to spare him. All the girl has to do is wiggle her fingers to take his life. What makes her laugh is that the stranger has decided to take her hostage. The stranger uses a poison needle on Ching. It hits her right in the neck. The girl falls down. Wu Fu uses his sword Qi in retaliation and slits the stranger's throat despite her pleas for mercy. Ching cannot survive without the antidote. She whispers that she doesn't want to die. The protagonist promises that she won't die as long as he's here. He removes the needle from her neck. There is still some poison on it. The girl feels a warmth and an amalgamation of spiritual energy. Wu Fu decides to suck out the poison. At this point, members of the martial arts club enter the room. They misunderstand the situation and say that they are on their way out. I'm completely out. The girl is fine now. Thanked her savior. Wu Fu thinks the attackers were after him. Saving Ching was his duty and there's no need to thank him. The girl asks him to be more brave. Meng Yao is at the hospital with her boyfriend. She receives a phone call from Wu Fu. Tian Hao's father asks to be put on speakerphone. Wu Fu demands that Tian Hao kneel down in front of him at school in 3 days and apologize. He adds that this is his last chance and hangs up. Ching points out that the family think they can do anything because they have Tian gang. Wu Fu tells her not to worry because they will stand up to him. This infuriates the girl. Tang Hao is furious that some scum has to demand an apology from him. His father reassures him that Tangon will be back in town in 2 days to kill Wu Fu. Wang Meng and Wu Fu are in their room. A karate club breaks into their room. The protagonist's roommate thought his friend would hurt them. But Wu Fu doesn't even know who they are. The boys say that their president asked them to teach him a lesson. They know that Wu Fu hurt their president's family. The president of the karate club is Tian Hao. While their boss is resting in hospital, the guy from the club is in charge. They think that Wu Fu has no right to name their president. Tang Hao is another pile of rubbish. Wang Meng tells his friend to be careful. These people are not worthy of being called a threat. Wu Fu is too arrogant and the members of the karate club want to send him to hospital. The protagonist tells his opponents that if they want to send him to hospital, they must at least step up. The two guys attack each other. Wu Fu thinks they are acting rashly. Dracula steps in as vice president of the karate club. He is also a cultivator. Wu Fu senses that his opponent has some skills. But he still thinks he's stronger and pushes him towards the exit. Xing Qing comes by. She kicks the temporary president of the karate club in the back with her foot. The guy wasn't expecting this turn of events. She asked if the man had been given permission to bully her club members. The guy told her to stay out of it. Xing Qing assumed it was about the return of He Tangon. The martial arts club is always ready to fight. The karate guy said, and that garbage is garbage. He was outraged that Wu Fu was hiding behind a woman's skirt. The guy offers to fight one-on-one. Wang Meng asks his friend not to be a fool and not to be provoked. Xing Qing warns that Wu Fu's opponent is a level higher and asks him not to be reckless. Seeing this, the protagonist agrees to a one-on-one fight. The head of the karate club thinks he is stupid. They agree to meet at the stadium in the afternoon. The karate players' friends wish their president good luck. The protagonist tells his neighbor that he agreed because it's fun. Xing Qing knows that Cheng Yanxiao is very mean and asks Wu Fu not to go to the meeting. The girl says that if he loses, he can't dishonor the name of the martial arts club. The protagonist can't remember when he joined the club. Xing Qing explains that he is in the club because she said so. Her friend suggested that this was too childish an act. Xing Qing says that her club has always communicated in the language of power. Xiao Ha is also a member of the martial arts club now. Wang Meng was upset that the dog was more important than him. Tian Hao, Meng Yao, Yang Xiao and members of the karate club gathered at the school stadium. Tian Hao gave Yun Xiao the needles left over from the last kill. They will be used to kill Wu Fu. Tian Hao has to see death with his own eyes. His friend is excited that he can easily defeat the protagonist with these needles. The company has been waiting for Wu Fu for half an hour and he is still missing. It is assumed that he has run away. The members of the karate club suggested that they call in some people to easily break the protagonist. Tang Hao explains that he wouldn't be in a wheelchair if it were of any use. Wu Fu and Cheng Qin arrive at the stadium. The protagonist reminds them that he expects an apology from Tian Hao. The guy replies that he's not expecting one. Yun Xiao is outraged that just any cultivator would dare to brag to him. He forms a ball. The girl asks Wu Fu. She warns the boy that if he can't win, he must accept defeat. Wu Fu asks her to look after his dog. Yun Xiao is sure that his opponent will not get out of here alive. He attacks with poison needles. Yun Xiao knows that a ball of qi allows him to condense formed weapons, but not completely. Wu Fu uses his star sword and kills his opponent. Everyone who came to watch can't believe it, and the karate club members run away. Tian Hao asks his girlfriend to get him out of here quickly. But the protagonist won't let her. Tian Hao didn't expect his opponent to be so strong. He admits his guilt and apologizes to Wu Fu. Tian Hao begs for mercy and promises not to cause any more trouble. The man says he has lost the chance for forgiveness, and now it is too late to apologize. Wu Fu kills his tormentor with a poison needle. Tian Hao asks for an antidote, but no one has prepared one. Meng Yao says that her boyfriend never got around to dealing with her ex's death. She believes that even if Tian Hao were alive, he would be useless. The girl asked Wu Fu if he would kill her. But the man replied that she could only feel desperate if she were alive. Given Wu Fu's hatred from her past life, she will pay double. The teacher gives the student one of the 3 great treasures of the Zhongyang faction. It is part sword, but it is incredibly sharp. The boy says that only through revenge can he find peace. He sees it as training in the outside world. The teacher advocates killing people eye for eye and asks him to return sooner. Meng Yao is convinced that it is better to die and end this suffering than to be humiliated. Even after death, she will not forgive her ex-boyfriend. She is stopped by Tiangan. Since his younger brother recently died, the girl owes Wu Fu's downfall to him. The hero has taken a shower and is thinking about breaking through the chi sphere. In his previous life, his teacher made a mixed spirit pill to help him break through to the next level. He may not have a mixed spirit pill in his current life, but with the help of his nourishing chi sword, he has no problem breaking through. Outside the bathroom door, the boy hears a woman's voice telling him not to lick it. He doesn't know who it is. The girl asks Xiao Ha to stop licking her. She offers Wu Fu to sit on the bed next to her. But it was already the protagonist's bed. The girl is annoyed because she already took the initiative to find him. She asks for a little more enthusiasm. Wu Fu doesn't know what she wants from him. The girl wants to test his strength, but he doesn't react. The protagonist asks him to stop. The girl notices that Wu Fu's swords are completely silent. She couldn't have noticed them even though the boy had used them at the very beginning. Wu Fu had reached the peak of his breakthrough. The use of the chi ball has pushed him to the very edge. It looks like the breakthrough has already happened. The girl thinks that the dormitories are too low in spiritual energy. It's not the best place for a breakthrough. Wu Fu was sure that the guy wouldn't have had to break through in the dormitories if her inspection hadn't ruined his original plan. She's the student council representative. If the student makes a fuss in the dormitory, she is forced to come and find out everything. The girl asks the protagonist if he has prepared the pills. You're surprised that he hasn't prepared anything for such an important case. Wu Fu thinks he doesn't need to. He absorbs all spiritual energy within a 10-mile radius. She's sure that cultivators at the level of the chi sphere can't do that. Wu Fu breaks through. Wu Fu and Big Sister Su are followed by other students through the peephole. Wang Mang was among them. Suddenly, the doors opened and Wu Fu saw what was behind them. Wang Mang praised his friend for his good work. She asked him to bring her some clothes. At the Su family home, everyone was waiting for Wu Fu, but he was already late. Uncle Chang Ching thought the boy was arrogant, even though he is only at the stage of forming a chi ball. But the girl teased her uncle, saying that her friend was stronger than him. The grandfather reminded her that the boy had saved Ching Ching's life twice and they would wait for him all day. Meanwhile, Wu Fu was walking towards him through the forest. Xiao Ha was with him. He knows that two guys are following him. He doesn't understand why they haven't shown themselves yet. The two guys told the protagonist that since he was only at the chi sphere stage, it would be more logical to go to a crowded place to ask for help. However, he led them into the forest. The boy said that he was already in the myotomorphosis stage. They had been sent by He Tiangon to avenge the death of his younger brother. He only asked them to investigate, but it would be better if they brought him Wu Fu's head. Ching Ching finds it very strange that the friend has still not come. Xiao Ha's dog bursts into the house. The girl asked the dog where its master was. Xiao Ha grabbed her by the sleeve and pulled her towards his master. He clearly wanted the girl to follow him. It looked like Wu Fu was in trouble. At that time, the boy was fighting with two fighters in the forest. The boys are surprised that Fu Wu has made it to the metamorphosis stage. His opponents don't know much about him yet. Ching Ching is sure that her friend is in danger because he is fighting two metamorphosis stage cultivators. She wants to help, but Grandpa stops her because Wu Fu has broken through the chi sphere stage. Grandpa can feel the powerful energy from Wu Fu's broken sword. Above the protagonist's head is a real sword hilt. It looks like the guy is looking down again. Another batch of rubbish has been sent to him. The attacker's information was wrong. Wu Fu's transformation object looks a bit like a faction treasure. The protagonist doesn't let his opponent go anywhere. He kills him with one blow. Xiao Ha runs to his master. Ching Ching decides to shame the third brother, who boasts that he can defeat 10 of them. But he has no shame at all, as he notices that the moon is round today. Xiao Ha has eaten the dead man's spirit stone. The stone has become a snack containing a lot of energy. The boy is happy that his dog has eaten the stone. This caused Xiao Ha's teeth to change. They became sharper. A black car pulled up in front of the Su family's house. Today, the two boys were supposed to find out Wu Fu's abilities and report back, but it had already taken too long. He's worried. 3 men get out of the car. They shout and tell Wu Fu to get out because he has killed people. The boy did not expect to find Master Su Jia in Tafnu Haiyan. Tiangon hopes that his men killed Wu Fu even though he has some skills. Meng Yao decides it's safe to assume her ex-boyfriend is dead. The protagonist approaches and asks if it is him they are looking for. Tiangon's friends have a lot of power. Wu Fu is no enemy to them. Tiangon believes that Su's family helped Wu Fu eliminate his men. The man blames the family. They beat and killed Zhongyan's disciples. But it was Wu Fu who did the killing, and the Su family had nothing to do with it. Su Jia thinks such statements are insolent. Tiangon doesn't believe it. He tells the boy to watch his words. His family has owned the sea for many years. Someone should teach Tiangon some manners. Su's family will not allow outsiders to invade their land and kill innocent people. Wu Fu appreciates their kindness, but this time he wants to take matters into his own hands. He throws the bodies of the 2 murdered men at Tiangang, which makes him very angry. The protagonist says that if Tiangang wants revenge, he should first make sure that he has enough strength. Master Su Jia sees Wu Fu's powerful sword. The strength of the Su family cannot be underestimated, as Su Wei is half a master. In just a few days, the protagonist has reached this position. Tiangon decides to retreat today. Tiangon promises to kill Wu Fu. Meng Yao can't even imagine what kind of skills her ex has, that the Su family has stood up to him. Tiangon suggests waiting for him to come out to finish him off. Qing Qing's brother walks around the protagonist and tries to establish a relationship with him. He asks Wu Fu for a girlfriend. He can't see into Wu Fu's power. He asks when the guy's master will return. The protagonist replies that he has gone on a journey to the Sea of Clouds. The man thought he was a simple young man and didn't expect such strong support. He wants to take this relationship to the next level. Maybe the old man will reward him for his help. Grandpa has heard that Qing Qing and Wu Fu go to the same school. Wang Mang was fast asleep and dreaming. Suddenly, Tyre Gon and his friends enter his room. They want to take revenge on Wu Fu for Tianhao's death. After meeting the Su family, the protagonists have to go back to school. Shang Qing's father wants to give him a gift for saving his daughter. Namely, Divine Spirit Pills. These pills are useful in the mystic stage. The boy thinks it is too early to give them to Wu Fu, but the grandfather will not ask him what to do or how to thank him for saving his only granddaughter. These pills are very expensive. Qing Qing says that they are not giving him this gift so that he can use it immediately. Wu Fu has development methods. The boy says there is no need for them. He asks Qing Qing's father to help him find his sword parts. The girl thinks that the Divine Spirit Pills are much stronger than the broken sword. The sword's power proves otherwise. Master Su Jia believes that the power of this sword is comparable to the artifacts used by cultivators in the mystic stage. Wu Fu shows no sign of fear in his encounter with He Tiangai. The man asked if the sword was the treasure of the protagonist's master. The boy explained that it was not of this world. The grandfather would see what could be done. Wu Fu thanked the Su family and left. At the bus stop, Zhou Sun met 3 boys from another university. They were members of the basketball club that had beaten Yunhai University's basketball club. If they won this time, Zhou Sun should kneel down to greet them. Zhou Sun decides to tell them that they've got some very strong primaries, alluding to Wu Fu passing by. But the boys think that Yunhai University is no match for them. Zhou Xiong begs Wu Fu to save him. He gets punched in the face. He keeps asking the protagonist for help and doesn't understand why he doesn't want to fight. The guys think that all Yunhai students are nothing and that during the cultivator exchange, Yunhai University is your defeat. Now they ask Wu Fu to show them the way. But because of their insults, the guy decides to punish them. He asks them to speak politely and not to resort to violence. The protagonist's opponent turns out to be the heir of the elder family, the fierce Tiger Fist. His friends ask him to be discreet and not to kill Wu Fu. The protagonists tell him that they are not rivals and that the boy should leave while he still has the chance. The students didn't think that Yunhai University had produced any nobodies with powers. Tiger Fist still wouldn't give up. He promised to punish Wu Fu for playing tough in front of him. The president of the school board arrived on the scene. She was shocked that Wu Fu could defeat the toughest opponent from Sher College. The students thought that the protagonist was from the school board, but he was not. The boy revealed that he was a member of a martial arts club. Student council members are always the strongest students in the school, and the girl had never heard of a martial arts club. She told the president of the Yunhai school board that her school was challenging them. They were hoping that Wu Fu would participate in a cultivator exchange. The guy didn't really want to, but the girl said they'd cleaned up the mess left by He Tiangai. Attending is just a small price to pay for helping out. Now Wu Fu wonders why no one was bullying him at school. The girl said they had to meet in the student council meeting room. She hadn't expected the first year to be so strong. He had only broken through a few days ago. But he had already won the fist of the Viripo Tiger of Sher College, which had been at this stage of development for a long time. Yunhai University has a chance to win this time, as they have never beaten Sher College in the exchange program. They have a stage expert. It's less embarrassing for them to lose. A member of the college's student council is against the first year entering the competition. The girl says that the like members are strong students from Yunhai, and if they lose again, she won't mind expelling them all. The girl reminds the protagonist that the exchange program starts at noon and asks him not to be late. She reveals that there are much stronger opponents in the college than Fist of the Tiger and asks that they be judged on their merits. A member of the student council asks Wu Fu not to get cocky and insults him. He is beaten for his trouble. President Liu is hopeful that Yunhai University will win this time. Wu Fu entered the room and saw a neighbor throwing rubbish around. He immediately realized that Tiangong had come. Wang Meng does not want his neighbor to intercede on his behalf because his tormentor is very strong. Wu Fu promises that Tiangong will personally apologize to his neighbor. Today is the start of the cultivator exchange competition. The students hope to win this time. They think it is very risky to use the first year to fight their toughest opponent. President Liu is confident that the candidate is very strong this time. One member of the student council allows the first honcho to represent their college, but another suggests that he beat all the opponents from Shea College on his own. This guy decides to pick a fight with Wu Fu in order to prevent him from participating in the exchange program. The protagonist is not very eager to take part in the competition. He is forced to do so by the president of the student council. Guy attacks the first race but gets a good kick out of it. Now he doubts that it's the newcomer because Wu Fu is very strong. Ching Ching approaches the group of competitors. She thought the competition had already started. She is a cultivator in the final stage of orb formation. Tiangong approaches the group of students. He is a cultivator at the mystic level. He didn't expect to meet Wu Fu here. Wang Meng comes between them, who doesn't want his friend to stand up for him, as competition is more important now. The protagonist says that it doesn't matter if Tiangong would have come here or not, the result is the same. The guy will win, and he will. Wang Meng wanted to kiss him for saying that. Wu Fu hit his friend because of his reflexes. Wu Fu wants to avenge his friend. But what should Tiangong do if his brother is killed? He wants Wu Fu to pay with his life. The protagonist believes that Tianhao deserves to die, and when his older brother wants revenge, he is always ready. It wasn't Wang Meng who killed his brother, it was Wu Fu. Tiangong doesn't think a weakling like Wang Meng deserves his apology. He asks the fat man if he dares to accept his apology. Tiangong got hold of the great treasure of the Zhongyan faction. He thought he could scare Wu Fu with it. The hero sensed this fragment during his first encounter with Tiangong. The treasure becomes more aggressive. It is very difficult to control. The fragment escapes from Tiangong's hands and flies straight to Wu Fu's sword. It's his piece. The boys continue to fight but are stopped by President Li. Wu Fu thinks he must be patient and wait for the right moment to exact his revenge. Tiangong is interested in the sword that can consume one of the three great treasures of the Zhongyan faction. He wants to get his hands on it. The students of Shur College are surprised by the presence of such strong opponents at Yunhai University. They are especially worried about Tiangong, who reached the Qi realm a year ago. This year, it will be more difficult to deal with Yunhai University. Xiao Ha digs something into the ground, but Wang Meng stops him. President Liu scolds Wu Fu for just reaching the sphere formation stage and already trying to get into a showdown with Tiangong, who has been at this stage for a while. Besides, the boys have yet to enter the competition. Tiangong thinks the treasure is his and wants it back. But Wu Fu did nothing. The shard itself returned to its original owner. These shards have belonged to the Yanzhong faction for 3 years. Tiangong is sure that this is just an excuse. He starts to attack Wu Fu but stumbles and falls. The students around him laugh. Tiangong orders Wang Meng to leave if he doesn't want to die. Wu Fu assures Tiangong that it is Tiangong who must leave. If he gets all the pieces of the orb, he will be even stronger. He feels it is his duty to take the sword from the protagonist. President Liu asks them to put aside their grudges and stop fighting. She insists that Shay's college people should not be allowed to make fun of them, as internal friction cannot be more important than the exchange competition. The students were not expecting an internal dispute at the university. They think that Tiangong is not that powerful. They don't understand who Wu Fu is and why he's so powerful. He's just a beginner. It seems to them that the guy hasn't even used his full strength yet. During a fight between the protagonist and Tiangong, the latter manages to knock the sword out of Wu Fu's hands. It now belongs to him. The guy thinks the protagonist is nothing without the sword. The sword chi is in Tiangong's hands. But after a few seconds, it went into Wu Fu's hands of its own accord because it had been stored in his body all along and no one would be able to take it away. The students at Shur College did not believe it was a primitive. The girl said that Wu Fu had been beaten up by Tiangong and sent to hospital 2 months ago because of problems in his personal life. If Tianhao is Tiangong's brother, then Wu Fu must be an ordinary man. It turns out that the protagonist has become so strong in 2 months or has always hidden his strength. The protagonist has a secret. Wu Fu uses the Star Sword technique. The students standing next to him seem to think that he has just broken through to the sphere formation stage. They don't understand how this guy was able to defeat the Mystic Stage Cultivator so easily. Tiangon admitted that his opponent was stronger. It seems to him that Fu is using a secret technique. He will never forget his injustice and will surely take revenge. Wang Mang is thrilled to see his friend defeat Tiangang. The student thinks that Wu Fu relies too much on his sword. The boy tells him that there will always be fights during the cultivation exchanges. Wu Fu will fight in place of He Tiangon, who has just escaped. The college doesn't think the protagonist is invulnerable, as he has only recently reached the sphere formation stage. They believe that even with this sword, he won't be able to defeat their boss. Wu Fu does not want to waste his time talking and suggests that they all attack together. The captain of the college team thinks he can make the protagonist regret his words. He gives him one last chance to apologize. Wu Fu must not think that he can win just because he has a sword. President Liu says that if He Tiangon had won, they would have had a 60% chance of winning, but now if Wu Fu loses, she will devour him. Qing thinks it's wrong to do this in front of her opponents. The girl wants to give a proper welcome to a bunch of thugs who don't know when to stop. The boy thinks that Qing is jealous of President Liu. The girl wants to fight this student, but in the process of attacking, she realizes that his defenses are too strong and it is too late to dodge. She is defended by Wu Fu because he is his opponent, the girl Anya. Qing asks his rescuer to be more careful. The boy is confident that no one can penetrate his family's divine protection technique, especially Wu Fu with a toy knife. He dreams of beating up the protagonist. Wu Fu stands motionless. The student council president has already admitted defeat and thinks that the university will lose again this year. The divine defense technique has been broken. There is nothing that can block Wu Fu's sword. No matter where it is, past, present, or future. The students of Shi School have realized that they have lost. They could concede defeat, but they would have to give Wu Fu the soul stone. He explained that his dog loved them very much. Xiaohua ran to get some treats. The boy discovered the presence of the treasure in Tianfu Hao Yuan. The master asked him to find the owner of the divine weapon and give him the piece. The boy promised to do so, but in reality he thought only he was worthy to use the divine weapon. The master told him that his time in this world was like glass. If he never reaches the Tao realm, he will die. Meng Yao does not understand how Wu Fu has become so strong. He tells her that the girl will choose death over life. Tiangang tells her to be quiet. Wu Fu is so easy for me. His strength is equal to Tiangang's, then he uses a divine weapon. The boy won't leave him alone. He wants to be content with watching Wu Fu die in front of him. The man has no idea how the pass works. He decides to ask the guard. To get into Wu Fu's private room, he has to show his invitation card. Xiaohua recently tore up this card. Unfortunately, the guards won't accept it. Zhou Sun happens to be nearby. He thinks Wu Fu is unworthy of coming to such a place. He doesn't believe that the dog tore up the pass. Wu Fu can only pass if he has an intact map. The protagonist wants Zhou Sun to help him, but he refuses. He doesn't want Wu Fu to touch him, especially in public. Wu Fu asks him to give him the card. The girl accompanying Zhou Sun doesn't think he can communicate with trash like Wu Fu. She sees a necklace she likes and asks Zhou Sun to buy it for her. Zhou Sun gives her his passport and asks Wu Fu to accept it. The hero thanks him. The boy thinks that Wu Fu has become even stronger than before. Wu Fu has arrived for the auction. The negotiated swords would be auctioned off today. Qing's father had invited him here so that the boy could see if the blade was here. The man asked to leave the rivalry problem to the Su family. They would do their best. Wu Fu was very grateful for his help. If it turns out to be a sword fragment, the man will teach the Su family some tricks. The man thinks that Wu Fu does not know how much the lot is worth. The man tells him to keep quiet. Wu Fu has seen that Su's father has been stuck in the Yangsheng area for a long time. These holes are enough to make him come back. The man is surprised that Wu Fu knows about his father's condition. The auction begins. The protagonist is very interested in the event. The first lot is a dazzling ghost. The starting price is $500,000. Xiaohua barks and Mr. Su decides to buy it for her. Qing doesn't think her family needs spirits right now. Even if this spirit is valuable, it is useless to her. Her father says he will buy whatever the dog Wu Fu wants. The girl thinks that her father has changed. The auction includes a sparkling Trutovik for $5 million, a Fishik for $3 million and a Pudashi Lingshir for $2 million. It's almost over. I wonder what the last lot will be. It doesn't matter to the man, he can't afford it anyway. The last lot will be the most expensive one. It's a fragment of the divine sword. Just the one Wu Fu is looking for. Another man has appeared who has been searching for the treasure for 9 years. He is asking someone here to help him buy it. It's very difficult to get someone to pay for you at an auction. The guy didn't think he'd meet anyone more insolent than Wu Fu. One of the auction guests thinks the guy is confused. The unknown man is putting a lot of pressure on those present. He wants to make someone pay in exchange for any help. It turns out that there is a man in the ashes who is willing to buy the treasure for 10 million. The man promises to grant any wish later. The man thought that his power deserved the treasure and decided to help him. Wu Fu and the Su family felt the immense power. Ching Ching's father doesn't know who the mysterious man is. The protagonist says that it doesn't matter because the Su family can't handle him. Wu Fu is sure that the mystery man will definitely give him the fragment. Mr. Su asks if he knows Wu Fu. The man replied that he didn't. But he knows the stranger himself. The mysterious buyer who helped an unknown man acquire a fragment of the divine sword turns out to be He Tiangon. He's content to be promised help when he needs it. He wants to use this opportunity to fight Wu Fu. Someone knocks on Tangon's door. It's his friend, who also wants to help him get rid of his enemy. Tangon is in no hurry. He wants to concentrate on getting the sword first and then torturing Wu Fu. Meng Yao thinks that her ex will die this time. Due to his consumption of spirit stones, Xiao Ha's teeth are developing well. The president of the student council comes into the main character's room. She also notices that the puppy has grown. Wu Fu asks her to tell her what's wrong with him. The girl says that she just can't look at him because he's always alone. Wu Fu throws her on the bed, snuggles up to her and asks her not to play with fire if she's not ready to sit down. He whispers in her ear that it could be dangerous. The girl pushes him away and explains that she's looking for him to play for Yunhai University. Wu Fu is not interested. Approval is not important to her as her rivals are very strong. It looks like the university will never get good marks this time. There are only 10 contestants in this competition. The girl can ask someone else. This competition will be much more difficult. Wu Fu has asked to record it, but he has to do something first. That's all for today. So guys, if you liked this video and want part 2, leave a comment below with the word ICOC. Also subscribe to the channel, click on the bell and like YF video, but most importantly, leave a comment. You can also write your manga options in the comments so that I make a video about them before the next video.